What's up, y'all? Welcome into the LA Sports Brotherhood. It's me, Brian, here with my brother Matthew, and we're here to recap another Dodgers sweep. It's two in a row. We've won games in a row now. Dodgers are rolling. We got some three. Frankly, when you're playing the Marlins, we had the exact type of series I was expecting. No stress, no nothing. Some pretty dominant performances, and we got Walker Buehler back. So, Matt, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Took care of business, sweep. When we play these horrible teams that we're gonna continue to see, it's important to sweep them. I think to really build a momentum, and they did just that. They got some pretty good pitching performances, and yeah, the most anticipated return of the year so far. Walker Buehler came back, put a smile on my face. He's my favorite pitcher, and as far as outing, he went 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks. I'm not too worried. I think first of all, I think his stuff is his fastball, the velo. It looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Let me see what it was. I believe it was sitting at 96, which is I'll take that. Yeah,
It,
sitting at.
yeah.
I'll take that. I don't know about you. How do you feel? Did you like the velo? Because I
I
think that's
was happy about it. No, sorry, could
yeah,
drop. Yeah, because he was throwing
yeah, but
94 in 2022, so it's even higher than it was like when he was still super effective. Or sorry, 2021.
yeah. So when you evaluate a guy who's coming back, first thing you see velo. So velo was checked. Then you see his control, and then you see how the stuff is playing. So for me, I just think he didn't have control of his off speed. First game back, something's going to be missing, and I think he was just missing his off speed. As far as pitch mix, he threw 22 four seams, 22 cutters, 9 knuckle curves, 9 sinkers, 8 sliders, and 7 changeups. So yeah, not a lot of off speed. Usually he's primarily fastball cutter, but the thing that I saw was he didn't get a single swing and miss on the slider.
Yeah.
So yeah, the off speed stuff wasn't there. 2 to 3 starts down the line. Once he gets that going, as good as the velo looked, as we know he's a great pitcher, we know he has control. So the biggest thing I'm looking for is to see how the off speed comes along.
Yeah, 100%. Good encouraging signs. Obviously, the velo one for me. His sinker actually looked pretty solid. His first strikeout was a really nice backdoor sinker. And he had no walks, which is good. Like you were saying, 100% agree. Clearly didn't have a feel for his off speed stuff, but he hasn't pitched in 2 years. I'm very encouraged by his performance.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, he pitched game one. Thankfully, Dodgers got some runs on the board for him. We won 6-3. Game two of the series, Yamamoto pitched, and he's just for these next 5 years, hopefully even further. We'll see what happens with his option. He's just going to be consistent. 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, only 5 strikeouts, but I don't really care. His ERA is down to 2.79. If you'd have told me that in the beginning of May that it would be that after giving up 5 runs in 1 inning, I would be. Frankly, I can't say I was shocked because I was so high on Yamamoto, but yeah, he's officially found his groove.
Yeah.
I kind of compare him and Bueller a little bit in terms of like their accuracy, the command of the mound, he got that. And what's crazy to me is we talk about the consistency, we talk about the control, we talked about the command of his pitches. He's 25 years old. It's truly incredible to think of him as this young prospect. Like
Yeah.
he's 2 years older than Pajes, and he's performing like this. But the biggest thing to me wasn't the runs or whatever. It's the 8 innings. He went 8 innings. He's a guy. I think the early part of the season hasn't really shown because he struggled in San Diego. There was that weird rain delay,
Yeah.
and like a couple other factors where he just had these blow up innings or like someone would screw him. I think he's always going to be going deep into games, and he's shown that recently. He's got his last 3 outings. I believe it was 6 innings, no runs, 6 innings, no runs. Now 8 innings, 2 runs, and it was 2 home runs. The first pitch of the game was a fastball middle. The other one was a hanging splitter. So I actually said early in the previews, I think the only damage you're gonna have is solo home runs when they attack the fastball early. But because he doesn't walk anyone, it's often gonna be solo shots. So I'll take that any day of the week. I know you have Yamamoto. How do you feel about his outing?
Yeah. The last point you made about the solo home runs is definitely the biggest thing because I will exchange that for because in this game he threw 19 straight strikes to start the game. Like that's what I want. And obviously not all of them were in the strike zone, but he was pounding the zone so much that when he leaves, he spikes a curveball or a splitter is in the dirt. They're still swinging at it because they know everything is in the zone, and that's the trade off you make. You don't walk people. I granted the two home runs he gave up didn't need to be home runs because it was genuinely just 95 down the middle. Like that doesn't need to happen, but if it's going to happen, I will take that trade off every day. Yeah, 8 innings. I saw a tweet from some people I follow on like Dodgers Twitter or whatever, that were really in tune with Japanese baseball, kind of specifically because of Yamamoto, and they were joking that like Yamamoto would finish that game like all 9 innings 10 times out of 10 in Japan. So it's I wonder how much of an adjustment it is for pitchers like him or even like someone like Shota or something that have been like really good over here still, but they're so used to finishing every single game that they're in. Like they'll throw like 120 pitches. Granted, it's because they're in a 6 man rotation, but still, it's so to your point is basically what I'm trying to say. Like expecting him to go deep into games, I will 100% agree. That's how he is. Like he finishes games, and at some point he will. I think if the game was maybe a bit closer, he might have, but I don't know. Regardless, 8 innings, super happy about that. I think he's a consistent 7 inning guy. So yeah, we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, real quick, I think that could be
Sorry.
advantageous because he's used to going deep. He's used to facing a lineup 3, 4 times. Whereas like the young guys, coming up in America, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna see them third time through. When they are have it rolling, and they do go at the third time through, I think they kind of fall apart. So I think that's actually big that Yamamoto's
Yeah,
had that experience.
yeah.
But yeah, game three, excuse me, game three, who would have guessed it? We only put 3 runs on the board, but of course, Gavin Stone came through yet again, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 run, and just 4 strikeouts. And it's kind of the same thing we've been saying. He started off the year with like high strikeout numbers. We were like, whoa, like that's not really who we thought he would be. But he was also giving up a lot of runs. And then he's really coming into his own. I think what this is third straight successful start. I think
Mm-hmm.
the last bad start he had was funny enough the game we actually went to against the Mets. But
Yeah.
since then he's just been so consistent and not a lot of strikeouts, but a lot of innings and not a lot of runs. And that's all I could ask for. His ERA is down to 3.55. I mean, he's been really good. I know it's not a great team, but he also just pitched that way against the Braves. And I think he's found his pitch mix. I think he knows who he is as a pitcher, and man, he's not a bullpen guy right now. He is a starter. He's a legit starter, and he's been great for us.
Yeah. He's for sure. He's cementing himself as a guy they're going to lean on. Last three starts for him, 7 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts this last one. 6 innings pitched, 5 strike, only 1 run against the Braves, and then before that, 7 innings pitched, only 1 run. That's not even like good number. That's elite production. It's not elite strikeout numbers, but I don't really care about that at all. He is getting it done. It was proof of concept against the Braves, and he just doubled down on it. Got an extra inning out of him. Honestly, it's so weird talking about it because we've talked about this a lot, where he was legitimately the Dodgers' number one pitching prospect in the entire system. That doesn't like those people usually pan out to some extent. So it felt weird being so down on him after last season, despite him being actively bad. But just because he has that in him, he has the pedigree, and especially in a double A like the PCL where every single ball that was hit was a home run because they juiced the crap out of those balls. And he was like dominant, like otherworldly dominant with his strikeout numbers and stuff. So it really shouldn't be a surprise, theoretically. But regardless, I'm still super happy because this is real. I don't when you don't strike out a lot of people, there's a lot of variance just because balls are in play and something gets changed. So I'm not gonna be I I'm prepared for the worst, I guess. But it feels like a genuine shift in his demeanor, his feel, his comfort on the mound. It just feels real. So I'm just really happy, and the length is massive because he could be doing like 5 innings, 1 run, and it'll be like, oh, that's nice. But he's been in the sixth inning, like I think 4 out of his last 5 starts. Like that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think he just wasn't ready last year. I mean, really, that's why we're like surprised because he was just like the worst player we've ever seen last year. I just think he wasn't ready, man. I mean,
Yeah, that's
I
very
think the
fair.
biggest thing is gonna be the slider usage because he threw 29 fastball or 4 seamers, 14 sinkers, kind of similar, and then 32 changeups. And the slider was the third most thrown pitch. I think that's gonna be really big because the changeup is disgusting. His fastball doesn't get hit very hard. He has good control over it, so that's good. That's the most important thing. He has the out pitch with a changeup. The slider is going to be huge when he's throwing to righties because changeup's more of a pitch to get lefties out. Slider is the pitch to get righties out. So yeah, it doesn't have to be a glass now, a Kershaw slider, but just he needs to have control of it and be able to throw it every single game for a certain amount of pitches.
Yeah. Real quick before we move on to like the rest of the team, what do you think happens to the rotation when Bobby comes back? Because he's not crazy far out. He's still around.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. First thing I will say is Stone has to continue. He has to be a starter. Obviously, the two aces, leave them alone. Obviously, Bueller's gonna be starting in 3 and 4. That's obviously Stone. So it's option one, Paxton in the bullpen. Option two, six-man rotation. And I don't, I don't know. I think Paxton's been good, but he's been walking a whole bunch of people. I think they've flirted with the idea of a six-man rotation. Maybe Paxton gets like a Yarbrough treatment where he's gonna go deep, go 2 to 3 innings. I think they would actually love that. So especially with the depleted bullpen, Phillips on the IL, Bruzdar's obviously been on the IL, Brazier, now Kelly. I think right now I'd say Paxton probably moves to the bullpen. What do you think?
I think I don't know what I think. I don't think they would force Paxton to the bullpen this early, just because they want to keep vets. Like they want to make sure vets will continually sign with them, and Paxton might believe he still has something in the tank. So if he's a bullpen guy in May, Bobby's not coming back in May, but like in June, that might be like the rest of his career, which will hurt his money. That's stuff
Yeah.
that I think we do have to consider. I think 6 man rotation is the most likely, or they're hoping, or not. They're not hoping. They're expecting James Paxton to get his yearly like 60-day injury. So maybe that's what it is. But I honestly think a 6 man rotation, especially with Yoshi and Glasnow and Stone throwing like 6, 7 innings. You need two relievers. You can use Yarbrough as like a full game one for that. You can use Grove, even though I don't want them to. You can use Grove for a couple innings, and you could still alleviate the bullpen usage. Because I think honestly, 6 man rotation is what it's going to be next year, just undeniably with Shohei back. Like that's just what it's going to be. So they might want to prepare, but that just doesn't happen in baseball. So or in the majors. So I don't know. Honestly, 6 man rotation is kind of where I'm leaning right now because I don't want really any of them to be out of the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, I have to assume that they had thought about this,
Yeah,
assuming they knew Bueller was going to be back, in the very immediate future. So I wonder what their plan was for this, because I think they kind of thought like, Paxton's going to give us what he gives us for the first half of the season. I'm curious as to what their plan is.
yeah, yeah. But well, that's a time conversation for another
Yeah.
time because Bobby is still not imminently back. But yeah, so we talked about the starting pitching. Definitely, I would say the main topic of this whole streak, honestly, because we see that they've been. Okay, I'm just gonna. Yeah, so with the streak, obviously we think about the offense, which has been exploding, but in these 7 games, no, on it more than that. In our like 13-2 stretch, I think it's 14-2 now. We've been giving up under 2 runs a game. Like that's just domination, and the starting pitching has it's very clear the difference that we've seen. So yeah, we can go from this pitching to frankly a dominant offense. They've been unbelievable. So Matt, what stood out to you this series?
Well, what stands out to me is I take a look at the box score. I see your 1-2, one dotting, the two highest OPS in the league. Freeman in the eights, Teoscar in the eights, Muncy in the nines, Pius in the eights. That's 1 through 7 of all-star numbers. And man, that's crazy. Like that, this isn't normal. It's kind of normal for us if you take a look back at the 2021 team, 2020 team, but it's the best offense in the league. I mean, you're talking about a lineup that has the two best players in baseball, and that's not even an argument to me. And then you have a guy who's hit 300 for the last 55 years. Obviously, I'm exaggerating with Freddie. And then, like, that last game is a perfect example. There's going to be games where Teoscar Muncy is going to win the game for us. He had all three. He drove in all three in a day where the offense struggles. You know, lefties on the mound. He's incredible against lefties. Drives in three. We won the game. It's such a deep lineup that one of those seven guys can always pick us up. Outman had a home run. If he gets hot, I mean, I don't even want. This is turns from like a great to like a historic offense with the potential he has. But yeah, what stands out to me is that it's not like, oh, it's pretty deep with good talent. It's deep with all-star level talent. Crazy.
Yeah. Gavin Lux, I think you mentioned it. He hit his first home run.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I forgot where I was. I was at the gym or something. And I checked my phone and I was like, I saw the Dodgers, like I get the post notification, like Gavin Lux goes yard or whatever their caption was, and I thought I was getting pranked. Um, but it's clicking. You know what I like the most about this is that Mookie Betts has like a 500 OPS in his last 5-10 games, and we have just continued to be relentless. And frankly, this might sound funny, but I think we've talked about this before. We share this feeling. It feels better. It feels so much more like real when we go on these streaks of like production, and it's not just because all nine are clicking. It's like we're still with slumps, especially with a Mookie slump, because this is like a real one. It's short, but it's 10 games, 500 OPS. That's not Mookie, and we've won 7 in a row. We're 14-2 in the last 16. Like that's it. Just makes everything feel more real because everyone is gonna slump. It's 162 games. It's impossible for the entire team to keep clicking at once. So that's why when it does happen, it kind of feels unreal. It's like when we mentioned with Pajes, I remember what we were talking about this. Like if he came up from pitch number one dot OPS the whole season, I think we both said that like it would feel a little less real. Like, but seeing him struggle a little bit early on and then progress, and you continually progress, it just makes it feel. It's so like tangible. I don't know. It just feels nice because they've scored over 5 runs a game for 16 games, and that's psychotic. They had a game in game two. They were out hit by the Marlins 6-5, and they won 8-2. If you just have one bad inning against them, it changes the entire series. It's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. It's that's like the best way to describe this offense. It's crazy. It's relentless. It's incredible. I want to give a shout out to Muncy. He's
Yes.
been kind of like first. There's the guys getting like you give it to Mookie and Freddie, or excuse me, Mookie and Shohei. Oh my God, the superstars. Then there's Will Smith, who's underrated. Then there's Max Muncy, who has a 917 OPS. Obviously, his OBP is above 350. It's 362, 556 slugging, 917 OPS. And how many home runs does he have? He has 9 home runs. He's been incredible, and he's our 5 hitter. He's an all-star third baseman. He has been so much better than Austin Riley, who gets a lot of that love that Muncy should be getting. He's just been great, and that that 5-6-7 is Muncy, Teoscar, and Pius. Oh my goodness, can that do damage? And you know, we've given Pius a lot of love, but in the if you call back to the beginning of the year, we're like, I don't know, you have to break that up. You know, it's you got Muncy, Teoscar, Outman. That's 3 strikeout guys. Pius is kind of fits in there perfectly. He
Yeah.
doesn't walk. He doesn't really strike out. He just hits and hits and hits.
Yeah.
He's situational. He's fitting perfectly there behind Muncy and Teoscar. Excuse me.
Yeah. I thank you for shouting out Muncy. He's my favorite player. I mean, I love Buki, I love Show, I like genuinely, but just Muncy has been so overlooked, even by Dodger fans recently. Everyone's loved him, and then he had his arm blown up in the last game of the season. It still breaks my heart. And he took a year because he didn't have surgery because he would have had to miss a year. So he played through a torn UCL that he was trying to like massage back together, and he's suffered in 2022. Even then, still had a better year than Cody Bellinger, whom I also love. But there was no solace for Muncy from the fan base. There was only trade his dumb fat ass. That's everyone was saying for 2 years. Even last year when he had better production than Nolan Arenado, who I mean I also love him, but like they were talking about trading Muncy for Arenado, and Muncy had a higher OPS, he had more home runs, and he had a higher WAR, which accounts for defense. And Muncy is
Th-
the worst defender of all time, I guess. So I don't know.
it-
It's just
Excuse me. They're sorry to interrupt. They're talking about freaking Matt Chapman for God's
yeah.
sake. I was like, what are
I,
you guys talking about? Matt
and
Chapman?
oh my god. Anyway, I only bring that up because he is feeling very 2021 ish, and 2021 Muncy was a MVP vote getter. I don't know if he actually got them, but he should have. He had 36 homers and a 895 OPS. 2018, I forgot he had a 970. He's just good. It just feels like he's finally healthy. He did slim down a little bit. And by the way, his average is back up to where his Dodger career average was before the injury, to around 250. I don't really care, but it's nice, I guess. And old heads care. Like, oh, at least he's hitting 250. It's like, okay, sure, Gramps. But yeah, I love him. He I just want this to keep up, and I think it will. There's nothing to me that suggests that it won't. But people forgot, because of the injury, how legitimately game changing he is as a hitter. He was arguably a top 10 hitter in baseball in 2021. And that's just a guy you're adding to Mookie, Shohei, Freddie, Will Smith. And you're just getting, oh, okay, here's another 900 OPS. And then Teoscar, kind of the same thing. I don't know. It's just, there's nothing but excitement for me with this team, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he was MVP 10 in 2021. He's gotten
Jesus.
MVP votes 3 different times.
That's
And 2018, 973 OPS, my God.
crazy.
889 2019, 895 in 2021. So far, he's at 917. His numbers are matching up perfectly with those 3 years, which we just said got MVP votes.
Yeah.
If it like, what made me so mad about like last year, so he was awful in 2022 because of injury. And in 2023, he was a high walk guy, very low average guy, high home run guy. And what made me so mad is people just thought like, oh, that's Muncy. It's like, no, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He always hit 250.
He was never
He was
that
always
guy.
high home run. He was an MVP hitter.
Yeah.
He wasn't a 3 outcome guy. And last year he was, and now he's just getting more healthy. And if he's back to that all-star, like perennial all-star third baseman, then oh my God, just look out for the league, because that would be crazy.
Yeah. That 2018 year, man. Almost a 1 OPS from a guy they got off the scrap heap. That's psychotic. But yeah, a little mention, Teoscar Hernandez. He literally won the game for them, game 3. He had the RBI single and then a 2-run home run to put him ahead in the 6th inning. He is on pace for almost 40 home runs this year, which would eclipse his career mark by like 15 home runs. He just feels so comfortable. Like, the Mariners brought him in, and it was like a solid move for them. At least it should have been. But they brought him in to be the right-handed hitting savior for them because their lineup was weak. He was the guy that needed to carry them, which Teoscar Hernandez is not that guy. He should never be that guy. He should be a guy. Granted, there's never been a lineup like this, at least not in modern baseball. So it's difficult to compare. But he's a guy that you drop in 5th every game or 6th every game, and he's just gonna be there. People are gonna be on base. Okay, I'll hit. I might strike out a lot, but I'm gonna slug like crazy. I'm a 500 slugging percentage. He is in his perfect role, and I know they brought him in as like a specific one and done kind of signing. Like, hey, thank you, shake hands, go get paid. I wouldn't be mad if they tried to extend him for a year or two, just because this is such a perfect fit for him, and our outfield prospects, frankly, not incredible. Pajes isn't great, but I think he's like the center fielder of the future. So we still need corner guys. We're not gonna have a Hayward Taylor platoon forever. So I'm just throwing it out there. Let's try to maybe get ahead of it, throw him some cash, because either way, he's been great. 840 OPS, again, would be a career mark by like 30 points. It's just, everything is clicking, man.
Yeah, I think I would love him back. I think it was kind of like, okay, Paz will replace him, but with the way Almonds played, Paz is, the future. Bring Teoscar back. There's no way he has to love it. You see the smile on his face when he's getting seeds thrown in his face.
Yeah.
But yeah, the offense is incredible. I want to really quickly, lastly, I'll talk about the bullpen. My weekly shout out to Yarbrough, the ratings pitch, only 1 hit, no runs. He's been freaking fantastic. Trinan comes back, or he actually pitched against the Braves, but he pitched again. On back-to-back games is crazy. He looks really good. He looks like he's back. The slider's ridiculous, but it's like we're rolling right now. We have five like genuinely good pitchers with Bueller coming back. We're gonna get innings out of those guys. And even if one of the five starters doesn't go deep, so this series was Bueller, he went 4 innings pitched while Yarbrough picks him up, and he's the long inning guy. And then you get 7 innings, 8 innings. You just have to put together 2 innings. So the starters are the biggest thing while this bullpen is depleting for them to go deep. Because when they go deep and you just need 2 innings, okay, Trinan, Hudson shut it down. If someone's out in the fifth, all right, Yarbrough, Vesia's picked it up and has been good. And then we don't know everything at Good Grove or Bad Grove, but I think the bullpen can survive as long as the starters continue to go deep into games.
100%. And it's really funny thinking about it because they're like the Dodgers are the biggest new age analytics thing or whatever, which kind of really, I mean, in terms of evaluation and development, 100% true. The way they actually run the team isn't really. But regardless, it's funny that the success has stemmed so much from them getting like just pushing their starters deep into games, which is the exact opposite of what the analytics say you should do. So it's just like this kind of mentality switch. And I do appreciate it because we needed that. The bullpen was scuffling bad. They had to throw so many innings. So Dave was just like, okay, Paxton, you're throwing 100 pitches. I don't care if it's you're in the fourth inning. You're going. Gavin Stone, you're going. And then Glass now is getting an extra inning. Yamamoto didn't really get the chance because I think the game we thought he was going to go 7, he kind of had a couple guys on in the 6. So it was like, okay, whatever. But regardless, 6 innings every time for like the last 5 starts. We're just pushing our guys more and more, but it's like they're been successful. So it's not just desperation like it kind of was with Paxton that one start. I forget, was it Sunday Night Baseball where you walk like 9 guys and Robert's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it was. And Robert's just like, no, you're dying on that mound. But yeah, it's great to see because I like seeing dominant score lines. But yeah, honestly, we talked a lot just because there's a lot to be excited about. It was the Marlins. Whatever. They suck. The next time we play them, we're going to sweep them again. But it's good to see just a very easy, dominant series. Coming up, we have a pretty big division road trip. It's short, but it's 3 games against the Padres, 3 games against the Giants. They both stink. I'm just going to say it. So it should be good, but anytime you play in San Diego and in San Francisco, something's going to happen. So it's going to be really exciting to watch. Yeah, any last thoughts before we get out of here, Matthew?
No, last thought, just 3 game series, not a single reliever had to pitch twice. So that's love to see that.
Massive. It's what having good starters does for you. Yeah, so for Matt, I'm Ryan. Thanks for watching. Go Dodgers.